Hello everybody, happy Friday and welcome to Humane at Home. I'm being joined by Bo today. He is not up for adoption. He belongs to my mother and she'd be pretty sad if he didn't show up back again. So he's just here to say hello and join us for our last regularly scheduled Humane at Home. We've been doing 3 a week since March. We did this in response to all the craziness and schools closing, and we have been so thankful for all of you who have come and joined us every single episode. We are so appreciative of the staff and volunteers who followed along and been supporting us. And lots of our regular viewers out there, David O, I see you. Emily, age 12, you have been awesome and asking so many great questions, and we have really appreciated all of the support. So moving forward, we're going to be doing every Friday at 2. So we will either have a live event just like this, like our virtual adoptions. We're going to keep doing that. That was so successful. We're going to have Paint with Lovejoy. And then throughout the summer, we might have a pre-recorded video for wildlife or pets or an activity you can do. But every Friday at 2, either join us live or see something posted that you can do for Humane at Home. And again, thank you so much for all of your support. We've had a lot of fun doing this, and we hope you have had fun and learned a few things too. So I want to tell you about something really awesome happening on Saturday, which is tomorrow. We have, let me see, was this help, Lauren? I don't know. We have our free microchip clinics. It is Hip to Chip. So this was organized by San Diego Rescue Coalition. We love all of our rescue partners. So these, I think that's a little more shaky, isn't it, Lauren? So these are all the places that you can go tomorrow to get your pet microchipped for free. IB, El Cajon, Frosted Faces, and Ramona. All 3 San Diego campus locations, and Chula Vista as well. So you need to make an appointment ahead of time. San Diego sdhumane.org/hip2chip. And I'm going to tell you why it is hip to chip. So if you don't know what a microchip is, it's about the size of a grain of rice, and we inject it right between the shoulder blades of your pet. So your dog, cat, rabbit can all get a microchip. We've even done it for a tortoise, so I don't know what you're going to bring, but not children, sorry. So it goes right between the shoulder blades, and it's like a permanent form of ID in case Bo's collar gets, he gets out without his collar, or it falls off. They can scan him at a vet office or a shelter and always find out who he belongs to so that he can get back home. So 4th of July is coming up, and that's why we do free chipping, because that is the one day of the year where we get more pets in at the shelter than any other day. No matter how careful you're being, those fireworks are really, really scary. So make sure you are keeping doors closed, fences closed, your pets inside with the TV on really loud. We want to make sure they're feeling safe. But microchips tomorrow from 9 to noon, it's hip to chip. Be there or be square. So we have Miss Lovejoy. She's going to continue joining us every last Friday of the month, so we're really excited about that. And today we chose her really cool love sign. And we thought that was a great way to end out this series of weekly episodes, because it kind of captures everything we've been doing here, showing the love. And we love all of our animals, our wild animal friends, and our pets. And we love Lovejoy. So thank you for joining us today. And as always, please post your creations in the comments, because we love to see them.
Yes.
So thanks, Lovejoy.
Awesome. Always happy to be here, and just so honored to be able to work with the San Diego Humane Society and all the viewers. You guys are such awesome support, so this is great. So like we stated earlier, this is going to be our love sign, and this is kind of a spin-off of the Robert, Indiana love post-it sign that he was really famous for. Just obviously switched out with a paw print and different background colors. So a little bit of what you're looking at right now, and I think it's safe I can take this off now. Makes it a little bit easier to breathe and function and explain everything. And it's nice to be able to smile again at people. So, all right, so on this, I'm actually on a 12 by 12 canvas. So a nice square canvas. This can be done on 11 by 14, 8 by 10, or even a square canvas. And I'll post the link in the comments later on to where you can find the traceable. And what you can do with the traceable is you print it out, and then with carbon paper, carbon side would be down, you would transfer it to your canvas, and then you can start painting. So that's one way to get your design on there. Your other option is to pause the video, draw what you see, and then pick up the video for the painting portion after you've got your drawing on there. And you'll be able to catch the replay of this video on the San Diego Humane Society Facebook page, I believe forever. I think they're archived in there. And then I'll post it on my stuff on Lovejoy Creations and Paint with Lovejoy as well. So either way, whatever you do to get your design on there, we're going to start with kind of the background colors. And I will keep with what this is, but you have full permission to change this up. Put your favorite colors in here. Maybe use purple instead of red. Maybe you do a different outline. But you have full permission to change this up and do whatever you want. With that being said, you don't have to use brush and paint. You can use colored pencils, crayons, markers, Sharpies, pastels, whatever you feel like. It's just more important that you actually get creative. The tools are kind of secondary. So with our paint, like I said, I'll be using paint. I'm going to start here with the yellow background on this side going around, and then I'll move into the teals, and then blues, and then the red and the black will be the last step. So to mix your color, and we're going to do a little bit of yellow and white. We're going to pull a little bit of that white aside and a little bit of yellow, and you literally just mix it together. And some of yours may be a little bit lighter or a little darker than mine. Doesn't really matter, you get total call of what you want it to be. And as you're applying your paint, you've got a few different brushes that you can try. You've got a pointy brush and then a bigger, wider brush. And we're just going to be filling in and going right up next to those lines from the traceable. And as you can see, I'm kind of turning the brush in different directions. But if you need to use the smaller brush to get into little areas here, feel free to switch back and forth between your brushes. But either way, you're going to apply it on there kind of thick. I'm using student grade paint, so it kind of comes on the transparent side. But if you apply it a little bit thicker, you get a little more opaque coverage, and then it makes it kind of fun to do some of the blending. And with acrylic paint, if you paint over the black lines, or you're traceable, or you paint something where you didn't want it to go there, don't stress out. Acrylic paint dries nice and solid, and you just let it dry, and then you put another color on top of it. All right, and if you're holding your breath while you're painting, exhale, take a deep breath. It does not help to hold your breath when you paint. Laugh at yourself a little bit, it's okay. I hold my breath too when I paint, and then I have to remember what I tell my students, and then I take a deep breath and just relax and have fun. So as we pull this over towards the L, before we switch colors, if you are on a stretched canvas, I recommend that you carry this color kind of around the sides and around the top. That way it looks really nice when you hang this on your wall and the color's kind of wrapping around the edge. So as we pull into the L here, before we move into a different color, I'm going to grab some of the direct yellow, and you can kind of slap it right on top of the lighter yellow and just play with the shade. And kind of using light pressure, taking that darker yellow and lightly just moving it on top of the lighter yellow. We'll do a little bit more of that when we get into the background for the blues and the teals down here. All right, so let's see, now we're going to be moving into our teal color. So I'm going to clean the brush really good. And then same thing with making our yellow and white mixture. We're going to start with white and add a little bit of teal. And again, it can be whatever shade that you want it to be. A little darker, a little lighter, doesn't matter. And we're gonna fill in this side, and we'll go a little bit darker in between here. So the fun part is actually gonna be where this light teal and the yellow overlap. So I'm gonna put a little more color right here before I do the blending. All right. And remember to smile while you paint. It's a good thing to paint and get creative. It's a little escape from the rest of the world. A lot of times people have very serious art faces. So if you are painting with somebody, have somebody take a picture and see if you've got an interesting art face or an intense concentrating face. All right, so where the yellow and that teal meet, we're gonna do a little bit of blending. So I like to kind of wipe off that excess paint, kind of give a bit of a dry brush, and then where the two colors meet, just kind of blend them back and forth. So I'm kind of using light pressure, and you can see that as the teal kind of moves into the green, it's changing colors and almost kind of becoming almost a neon green. So just kind of play with that as you work with the transition. If you need to, you can go back and grab some of that yellow white mixture and place it on top. And if you feel like finger painting to do some of your blending, go right ahead. It's very satisfying to do that. Just make sure you wash your hands and don't touch furniture, so your parents will get mad at you. Alright, so we're going to grab a little bit more of that direct teal, going a little bit darker, and I usually just kind of mix it right on that same pile. The plate will get kind of sloppy after a while, and then fill it in this area. And if you kind of notice that maybe you'll place your color on here, and then you realize you go, you know what, I want it a little bit darker. It's totally okay to change your mind and change your color after you've applied it to your canvas. So full permission to change and deviate and just kind of make it your own. So here I'm putting some of that darker teal on top of the lighter. And just like we did over here, I'm gonna wipe that brush off. And then with light pressure, just kind of smush and blend that darker color into the base lighter color. And like I said, this is just really fun and kind of therapeutic process for applying paint. And then here on this side, I'm going to grab a little bit more of that direct teal, and we're going to start carrying it down over here, get into teals and blues. So now I'm just grabbing that direct teal right here, switching up the colors a little bit from what's down there. Full permission to do that. And I'm going to show you the wet on wet blending by throwing white on here just so you can see the difference. And let's throw a little bit in here. Alright, so if you want to change the shade of a darker color, you can grab some of your white, literally slap it on there, wipe that brush off, and then light pressure again, just kind of play with moving that into the paint. Very therapeutic, very relaxing. Alright, so for these two sections, we're going to move into shades of light blue. So it'll be kind of similar to the teal, but we're going to start with the white and we'll add the blue. And you can get to kind of a medium shade of blue, of what you're looking for. There you go. And again, it can be kind of different, so what I'm going to do is fill both these places in, here, here, here. And then we'll kind of blend these two, and then we'll move into our red lettering. And I am looking forward to seeing the pictures of what you guys post, your versions of the painting, so make sure you throw them in the comments. Make sure you email them to the Humane Society. I know they'll post them on the Facebook as well. So keep sharing your work, and every time that you share your paintings and your creative efforts, either online or with your community, that's encouraging other people to paint and to try something creative. So you are very instrumental in helping more people get creative, and explain to them and share with them how relaxed it makes you feel, how accomplished it makes you feel, maybe the things that you were scared of and then overcame. Excuse me. But keep sharing your experiences with everybody. It's how we get better. Alright, so with this light blue paint on there, I'm going to start blending it in with this teal over here, and you're going to start seeing the color change. So kind of again, just play with it, have fun. When you get creative, it's a nice little escape from the world, and you realize that you're so focused on what you're painting that you forget about the rest of the world for a little bit. Okay. And then every now and then, do get in the habit of kind of stepping away from your painting and looking at it from a distance. I'm going to grab a little more teal for right here. And then I'm going to wipe that brush off. We're going to grab a little bit of that direct blue, and same thing. We're just going to start changing some of the colors, some of the shades. And then once you've put that darker blue on there, wipe that brush off again, and then light pressure, just blend and play with that, adding that darker pigment into your base color. And do whatever you want to your background now while the paint is wet. And then since you're at home and you can catch the video on the replay, I would recommend letting all this dry first, and then we're going to move into red paint and apply it pretty thick. Since my red paint, you'll see, is going to be kind of transparent. And then we'll let that dry, and then you do another black outline on top of that. So again, take this in your direction, full creativity. I can't wait to see what your guys' pictures are going to be. It's going to be cool. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. I'm going to move into just that direct red paint and basically fill up the rest of the canvas space. So to kind of demonstrate options, and student grade paint is a good paint choice to use when you're getting into painting. And then as you get more and more into the painting process, then you can buy more expensive tools and better quality paint. So when you're using your student grade paint, you could fill that hole in, let it dry, do one more coat, or if you want to try going thick right from the get-go, apply your paint kind of thick, and instead of having your brush perpendicular to the canvas, come in at like a 45-degree angle, kind of like icing a cake, and then you're just manipulating that thick paint on top of it. So again, the more that you do it, the more comfortable you'll get with the process and applying thick paint and kind of the muscle control of holding the brush. And then again, when you come to the edge, make sure it goes right around the side. And I'm going to go pretty fast on this one. You do not have to keep up with me. I've got an online school, Paint with Lovejoy, and we've been doing daily demos, painting demonstrations, kind of same reason that Humane at Home was started, just something to do during the lockdown and everybody's quarantine. So if you want more videos to check out that on my online school or YouTube channel. And I do take viewer requests for what we paint. So feel free to jump on and leave a suggestion and we'll add it to the demos. And that was doing every day, daily. I'm switching it down to just Friday, Saturday, and Sunday starting next week. And again, remember to breathe, laugh, relax. Definitely gonna have to do 2 coats on this, so I'm gonna try to get these other areas filled in, and I might be able to do a second coat on there. But like in my daily demos, I usually try to keep them at 30 minutes, just like this for the Humane at Home. So don't feel like you have to keep pace with my pace of painting. I am going super fast. I would much rather you guys take your time, utilize the pause function, and just enjoy the process. Get lost in the process. It's not about who finishes first, who finishes fastest. It's more about just escaping during the process of painting. And I forget sometimes I get so focused and it's like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to keep talking too while you guys are watching. Totally okay to laugh at me. And I've actually taught this particular painting quite a few times. It was super, super popular when I first started teaching in San Diego about 8 years ago. And I've seen this painting done in so many different varieties. One student took the base and then magazine cutouts, did a full collage, and they had a lot of pet magazines, so animals and stuff were all around, and that was really cool. Somebody else turned each of these letters into, one was cheetah spots, tiger stripes, zebra stripes. I forgot what their 4th one was. But like I said, get creative. I really enjoy seeing those pictures and the different direction that you take them. About 2:19. Actually, we're going pretty faster than I thought. Cool. So I think we'll definitely have time to do a second layer on there. And it is pretty cool to see just the difference and opacity that that second layer usually gives it. And I am making sure that I go right on top of those black lines. I outlined my traceable with a Sharpie marker for those of you at home that we're gonna pause the video and draw what you see. When you transfer with that traceable with the carbon paper, your lines will not be that dark. So it makes it easier to cover with the paint compared to trying to cover a Sharpie marker. Alright, so again, you can see the places where it's a little bit on the thin side. You can let it dry again and then do a thicker coat. I'm going to try to do one quick coat and then we'll be moving in with black outlines and a few white highlights, and that kind of brings us into the conclusion conclusion of the painting for today. And when you do your black outline, you definitely want your paint fully dry. And if it's kind of scary to think about doing a black outline on this, let your paint fully dry, and then you can use a Sharpie marker on top of it. But the paint does have to be fully dry for the pigment of the Sharpie marker to actually stick. Okay, just looking to see if there's any other light spots that needed to be filled. Let's get that little part of that E, and then we're gonna move into the black outline. Alright, so for the black outline, we're gonna be using the pointy brush and black paint, and I'm gonna add just a touch of water to the black paint. So again, pointy brush, and unless you want a different color, it's just gonna be the black paint. So when you're using the pointy brush, you wanna kind of play with the pressure of your brush, and kind of treat your brush like a pencil, so you're using just the tip of it. So we're gonna try to hold it perpendicular here and use just the tip of the brush. And we're gonna go for about medium pressure because I do want the outline going a little bit over the background and a little bit over each of the letters. That way it's kind of nice and thick. So a few things. If you need to, put your pinky out, and on a dry spot on your canvas, you can use that as your pivot point, because it's gonna be kind of crazy to hold your hand steady and keep light pressure. Or if you're on a table, you can rest your forearm against the edge of the table, and then draw your lines. And another note, I'm keeping this in the same orientation just because we are filming, but if you need to turn your canvas sideways, upside down, put it on your lap to make some of these lines a little bit easier, go right ahead and do that. Always adjust for what you need to make your creative experience that much more fun for yourself. Alright, so I'll be doing the pinky one. I don't usually get to do that because I'm actually on an easel today. Usually on my demos I am painting flat with the camera overhead. So again, you definitely want your paint to fully dry. And we're just going over, yeah. So I'm gonna be applying mine pretty thick just because my paint is still wet. But you're basically doing a medium shaped line that is overlapping that black and your background. And you can even notice how often I am going back to grab more paint. Kind of just keep looking at your pigment, and if it's starting to get thinner or not the color, if it's a little more transparent, go back and grab more paint. And this is where you definitely want to breathe. If you are finding that your brush is shaky as you are going to apply your paint, that means you're holding your breath. So if you can exhale as you touch the brush to the canvas, that will help immensely with the shaking of your hand. And if that's still too much, it does help, like because I'm talking to you guys at home while I'm painting, I don't necessarily hold my breath. So either talk to yourself or hum a song or, you know, whatever you need to do to make sure you breathe. Consciously breathe, actually. Let's working our way around. And if you happen to have some thick lines, some skinny lines, totally okay. And I do recommend that you do the same painting multiple times and maybe space them out and give yourself a couple of months in between each time you try it, or even a couple of years. Because that's one of the few times that you can recreate a painting and you have a visual documentation of how much you learned from the last time you painted that. And it's very satisfying to be able to see your own progress that way, and it gives you inspiration to continue your creative skills. Alright, and again, light pressure, don't hold your breath. So if you are noticing that maybe your brush strokes just get wider and wider to personalize this to the extent that you want. Almost there. And again, just stressing, in my daily demos, I've had a lot of people try to keep up with my pace. Please do not try to keep up with the 30-minute pace here. I want you to take your time and go slower than I am painting. After you've been painting for a couple of years, then I want you to do the 30-minute challenge. But you gotta have a few years of painting under your belt before you do that, just so you don't freak yourself out. Alright, so there's my sloppy outline. We had fill in a few of these. We are gonna clean the brush next. And we've got a few kind of bold white highlights that we're gonna put, and then that will be it for today. Alright, so clean that brush off. We're going to use pure white paint, but it doesn't have to be an exact line. If it's kind of choppy, if it breaks up a little bit, totally okay. And on the one in the background, I don't even have it, so this one we will reference. And I'm just now realizing that was a heart shape instead. Good job. So if you feel like switching this out and making the paw more of a heart shape, go for it. Alright, so again, my paint is still really wet. So after each brush stroke, I am grabbing fresh white and just doing quick little expressive little lines here. So don't stress about these being perfect. Sometimes just this quick movement brings a lot of energy to the painting. And the more you can not overthink the process, the more you're going to enjoy painting and life in general. So try not to overthink life too much either. And again, if you're inclined to put a color, a highlight somewhere where I do not put it, go right ahead. Full permission to have fun. And yeah, I think that brings us into the conclusion of the painting. So don't forget to send us photos, leave comments. Stacey has something else she's going to say. And yeah.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Lovejoy. That is beautiful. I'm always amazed at how easy she makes it look. I would be the one who's overthinking. So we want to thank you again. So just tune in. Remember, next Friday, so we're going to be weekly. We'll either have a video or a live. Remember, tomorrow, hip to chip. So 9 to noon, free microchipping. Be sure to go online and make an appointment because you can't just show up for this one. And I also want to give a big shout out. I don't know if you tuned in all day yesterday. It was our Day of Giving, which is our big annual fundraiser. Thanks to you, we made over $600,000 for our Day of Giving campaign. That is incredible. So thank you so much. There is a donate button down there if you're so inclined to help us get that number even higher. We can help even more animals. That helps our wildlife animals that Carly and Kate tell you about, all of our pets that come in. Thank you so much for supporting us, and we will see you either with an activity or live next Friday. But thanks for joining us, and have a great week.